Good morning, good afternoon everybody. I'm currently at Toddington Services on the M1 near Luton, and we've just picked up a brand new Kia EV6 and we came in this VW ID.4. So both these cars are kind of crossover family vehicles with 77 kilowatt hours of usable battery capacity. And what we're going to do this afternoon is drive home. So we've got about a 140-mile journey where we're driving convoy and compare exactly how the efficiency and usable capacities of these batteries compare. What's the real world range of these cars? As ever, the only way to tell exactly is to drive them on the same day, at the same speed, at the same time. And that's exactly what we're going to do in this video. So what exactly have we got here? So this is a VW ID.4 first edition. It's about 6 months old and has nearly 6,000 miles on it. This is a rear-wheel drive only vehicle. It's a four-wheel drive version of the ID.4 coming. This is a rear-wheel drive first edition, 77 kilowatt hour usable battery from about an 83 kilowatt hours gross battery pack. And I think they're great cars. The ID.4 is a really nice size crossover, loads of space inside, not too big on the outside. And I think they're really good. They're comfortable, they're quiet, and superb family vehicles. Then we've got this Kia EV6, a really intriguing car. And remember, I've had the Hyundai ID.4 in the past, and we've done a couple of videos with that car, including driving from Scotland to the south coast in one day. So do check out our other videos as well. So it's going to be really interesting to see how the EV6 compares. Now this car here is brand new. I've just picked it up. It's got 20 miles on the clock, and this is a GT Line S, basically the top spec you can get in the UK at the moment. There's a faster one coming, but this has got a little bit more battery than the Hyundai ID.4. It has slightly more power than the Hyundai ID.4, and it can let you charge a little bit quicker than the Hyundai ID.4. And I know from that video that that is a really fast charging car. But what we're going to focus on today is what the real world range of this car is going to be. And this is the dual motor car, and this does have the heat pump, which is optional. The ID.4 actually doesn't have a heat pump. It is a little bit chilly though, it's about 15 degrees. I'm outside in a t-shirt and kind of a tad chilly. So it probably will run the heating, that could have an effect, but nonetheless, these are the two cars we've got today. These are the two cars we're going to drive home in. We've got a bit of mileage to cover, so it'll be really interesting to see what we can get out of these cars. Now, we're not going to hypermile, we're going to drive at 70 miles an hour on natural speed limit the whole way. And I think what we do is just put them in normal mode, so not run eco mode. We're going to run these in just normal mode, like you get in the car and drive it by default every day. Okay, just pulling away from Toddington Services now. So this car, the EV6 at 92%, shows 250 miles of range, which means pro rata be 272 miles of range, nearly 270 miles of range. The ID.4 at 90%, well, I had it this morning at 100%, showed 250 miles of range. So in theory, that now at 90% shows 230 miles of range. So in theory, EV6 is being more optimistic. You know, it thinks we're going to go further. So this is where this will pan out. And like I say, we will drive in convoy at the same speed. So there's just two cars behind me, but we'll get in convoy and we'll make sure that we swap around, but we'll be in traffic, but we'll make sure there's no kind of aero advantage between the two. Will the EV6 be more efficient than the ID.4? We'll find out. All right, let's join the motorway. Ooh, good punch on the EV6. It is the quicker car, and you can feel it. Both more than adequate, but you can feel the EV6 has got that more punch. Now, I will do more, I'll give you a bit of opinion on the EV6 briefly, but there will be more videos reviewing this car. I've only driven it 10 miles so far. It's brand new. It's got 24 miles on the clock right now. So I will be able to give you some more opinion by the time we back of what I think of it to drive. And remember, I've driven the Hyundai ID.4 and I've driven the Tesla Model Y.
Now turn off to the left.
So I've got some reasonable basis for comparison. And I know the efficiency of the Tesla Model Y and its charging speed. So again, we do know that, and we'll probably be doing some more videos with the EV6 in the future. So do stay subscribed. But for now, I'm going to get on with the drive, and we're going to see how we're going to compare. Okay, Serge, 50.6 miles covered. What's your average miles per kilowatt hour?
I've got 3.3 miles per kilowatt hour.
I've got 3.3 as well. And what's your state of battery?
At the moment, I'm on 70%.
Mine's on 73%. Remember, you had 2% less when we started anyway, so really very similar. Okay, well, let's carry on. Let's see how it pans out. I'll tell you what, Serge, from here, as we've covered nearly half the way, let's go to eco modes and let's see if that makes any difference between the two cars, because obviously normal, they just seem to be pretty much the same, or the same. So let's go to eco mode, see if there's any difference to be had there. Okay,
Okay, cool.
eco mode enabled, see if that makes a difference. So what's the EV6 like to drive? Well, after nearly 70 miles today of driving, it's very good. There's a familiarity to the Hyundai, and it's actually, I think, very similar to the ID4. One thing I sort of noticed with this car is that the ID4, you feel like you're sat higher up in more of an SUV type car, and actually with the ID.4, again, it feels like a sort of taller, bigger, squarer car. This actually just feels like I'm in a normal car, if that makes sense. So it's still classified as a crossover. On the outside, this does sit lower than the ID4 and probably lower than the ID.4 as well. But it just feels more like a normal car. It doesn't feel that big at all. It is quite a big car, but it actually doesn't feel it. It just feels like I'm in a almost like Tesla Model 3 size. I think when you start looking back here, you can see that it's bigger and there's definitely more legroom and everything. In terms of the ride, noise and everything like that, I think it's actually really similar to the ID4. So it's well suppressed, it's smooth, it's comfortable. There is a slight firmness to the ride like most cars, but it's not crashing through the cabin or anything like that. It is a comfortable car. It's a really nice, comfortable car, very quiet. I'm doing 70 miles per hour now, and it's relaxed and it's easy going. I think there might be a little bit more wind flutter than in the ID4. Perhaps the ID4 is a tad quieter, but nothing you can really pick between it. And if I hadn't just got out of one to the other, you wouldn't be able to say, to be honest. It's very, very nice. It's nice. It's a comfortable car. I'm finding the seats comfortable. I found my way around the screen fairly easily. That's no problem at all there. This bit under here is kind of a bit awkward to reach if you have to get to that whilst you're driving, and the USB is a long way away. But again, as long as you don't have to do that when you're driving, it's fine. There's lots of bing-bongy noises, so it is picking up when there's speed cameras on gantries and such like, and it bing-bongs, interrupts your music to tell you that. Now, I've just found that you can turn those off. There's kind of a high, medium, low. Low still makes those bing bong noises you just heard, or you can go to completely off. Like the Hyundai ID.4, it has the vented seats in this one, but again, the lowest setting of that is instantly really quite cold. You can't really leave it on for any. That was another bing bong about something, I don't quite know which one. It does that all the time basically, so I think I might just turn that stuff off now because it's starting to grind me a little bit. But it's nice. Yeah, it's a nice, smooth, quiet car. Very comfortable to be in, enjoying it so far. I'm going to try and explain the difference between the various Autopilot drive assist features on EV6 versus ID.4 versus Tesla Model Y. So this one here has, sorry, I forget exactly what they call it, but this kind of pilot assist package. So it has radar cruise, it has lane keeping, and then if you indicate, it'll actually move across in the lane for you and keep all the system on. And basically it seems to work pretty well. It's showing me the speed limit. I can adjust the cruise speed on the display there, and I can see all that in the head-up display. It's in front of me. And it works pretty well. Just occasionally you get this kind of slight sort of seesaw in action on this, which I had a bit in the Hyundai as well. But actually, for most of the journey that I've been using it on this car today, it's been very good actually. And assuming if you don't kind of hold the steering wheel, do much with the steering wheel, it does warn you after a few seconds, not very long at all, to hold the wheel. It works quite well. In the VW, which is the same as in the Audis and Porsches I've driven, the lane assist is much more relaxed. It kind of like, you feel like you're driving the car more. So again, radar cruise is always very similar, but in those cars, it's really, if you start veering to the very edge of the lane, they kind of pull you back in, so you still very much feel like you're driving more, whereas this is centering the car in the lane. I can sort of override it quite easily and let the car move around, but it is centering itself in the lane. There's not much I have to do. With the Tesla Autopilot and Model 3, Model Y and all the recent Teslas, it will radar cruise and lane keep as part of the standard package, but you do have to pay extra for the functionality for it to change lanes. You have to buy at least enhanced Autopilot. So this does have that, and this does also have like a summon type feature on the key, same as the Hyundai had. On the key you can actually summon the car backwards and forwards, which again with Tesla you can't do it from the key, you have to do it via a connection on your phone and as part of either FSD or enhanced Autopilot package. But with Tesla Autopilot, that sort of feels a little bit more rigid than this. It's much more in control of it, in good ways and bad ways. The trouble you get with Tesla Autopilot is it kind of, if you want to move around in a lane a bit, it kind of goes, no, it's my way, or it kind of cancels the system quite quickly. Whereas this one, you can let the car move around a bit if you want to just come away from the truck and control that a little bit. So I do like this for that, actually. I'll give it that. And the other thing you do get sometimes with the Tesla Autopilot, with the current software at least, is phantom braking. I've been driving the Model 3 for the last couple of days, and you do get that, you know, you're going past a truck, you're quite relaxed, and suddenly the car brakes. Again, this will change with, you know, further software updates, which are always happening with Tesla, but I've not had anything like that with this car. I've not had that with the ID4. And with a Tesla, you do get that, and it means you kind of don't relax into the autopilot so much, or suddenly in the middle of the motorway it slams on the brakes. So the pilot assist package, or whatever they call it in this one, I have to say it works pretty well. Just that little bit of seesaw action every now and then, but it's working well and I quite like it. Serge, I've pulled over at this garage because I need a wee. Let's get the data. Do you want to swap around and you drive this for a little bit now? Okay, what have you got? 3.3 miles per kilowatt hour. 3.2. Heat pump works well. Have you got your percentage? 58%. So yeah, dropping by a similar amount of battery percentage, and really, isn't it? So it's 3% difference, we're left with 2% difference. So okay, right, let's go for a wee. I'm going to let Serge have a drive of this, and then we'll swap back around again in a bit. Okay, so we're both arrived back now. And what have we got? So since we switched drivers and the Kia reset itself, we reset this trip as well. We had the same efficiency before we stopped, and then on the last section we've driven another 40 miles, and this ID4 is reporting 3.5 miles per kilowatt hour, and I have finished with 39%. So it used 51% to drive, let's have a look, 126 miles. So if you call it 125 miles roughly on using 50% of the battery, then this car, because it only dropped to 39% when I pulled in actually, so let's count 125 miles on 50%, which means a real world range today of 250 miles. Pretty good, I think. But let's have a look at its Kia. Has it managed more miles? So now I've got 105 miles of range left according to the battery on this. Let's have a look at the Kia. Right, so you haven't moved there. So what have you got? You got 41%. Remember, you had 2% more than me. Yeah. I finished with 39%. So it's used exactly the same percentage of the battery. Yeah. I've got 3.5 miles per kilowatt hour, 3.4. When we spoke on the radio,
3.5. It's just it dropped here right at the end.
Yeah, well, no, when we pulled in, you said 3.5. So it's just dropped as you've been sat here. We didn't want Serge to get out because in case it resets that trip again. So let's call it a dead draw. They've used exactly the same energy. Yeah. Oh, I like these purple lights, by the way. These are nice, aren't they? Mm-hmm. This is a nice car. You like it, don't you?
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, good car.
I like it more than the ID4.
You like the ID4, don't you?
Yeah, I do.
But you like this one more?
Yeah.
It's a good car, actually, isn't it? It's a good car. So that's amazing. So this is now reporting 108 miles of range. And the ID4 is reporting 104, so I'm going to call it an exact draw. Yeah. So the way it will work out is that they basically both use 50% of the battery to do 126 miles. So basically you've got 250 mile range in each one of these. So there you have it. In today's conditions, the Kia EV6 dual motor 77 kilowatt hour battery and the ID4 77 kilowatt hour battery rear wheel drive have both used 50% of the battery, exactly the same amount, and so they've got exactly the same range in today's conditions of 250 miles. So both good cars, both nice colours, don't you think? Let me know in the comments which colour you would order a Kia EV6 in, but this yacht blue I think is lovely. We both like both cars. I think actually to drive they're really, really similar. They're both very good, comfortable cars, nice ride quality, well insulated. They're both on a pretty even keel, I think. So let's call it a wrap for this video, comparing these two cars on the same journey, driven at the same speed and the same day at the same time, and they proved identical. Maybe if it's colder, would the heat pump play more of a difference? Well, we'll have to try that another day perhaps, and I think we will see more videos comparing these cars. So I think we'll do another one soon on practicality, try getting a big box in this, does it fit in the ID4, and we can bring in some references to Tesla Model Y and Hyundai iX5, of which we've both driven both of those. And by the way, in terms of efficiency, I found this on this journey today, this Kia EV6, to be slightly more efficient than the Hyundai I think certainly the Hyundai gets punished at motorway speeds, it's less aerodynamic, but neither of them, or none of them, are as efficient as when I drove the Tesla Model Y, which tends to, on our drive, and when we drove the Tesla Model Y in 2 days, it was exactly the same as our Tesla Model 3 long range, remarkably, again, within fractions of a difference. So our Model 3 long range in those conditions today, I've done so many miles in that car, I think we would have been on about 3.8 miles per kilowatt hour. So in reality, the Tesla would be more efficient. However, with the long range Y and 3, they've got slightly smaller batteries, so the real world range pretty much pans out to about the same. Model 3, Model Y, 250, 260, maybe 270 miles. Again, you'll see in our channel other videos with our Model 3 long range, and you'll see our Model 3 long range directly compared to the Model Y on our other videos. We'll see if we can put a link below and maybe even in the video here. So let's call it a wrap for today with this video, and we'll try and do some more soon. So stay subscribed, hit the thumbs up icon on this video, and hit the bell icon for notifications of the next videos so you don't miss them. Thank you for watching. Hey everyone, thanks for watching our videos. If you like our content and want to see more, don't forget to not only subscribe but also hit the bell icon for notifications so you don't miss any new videos as they're uploaded. Plus, we're also on Instagram, just look up R Simons or RSEV. We're on Facebook and Twitter. So lots of news, stories and things as we go on each one of those channels.